It's about time that someone finally asked the important question of what if we made a whole superhero cinematic universe, but we made them all evil? And then Warner Brothers answered that question, and now James Gunn is making fun of him for it. That's not entirely what this movie is. The trailers make you think that's what it's gonna be. The trailers are shot exactly like the Man of Steel trailer, at least that first one that came out. To everybody out there, it's like, oh, this is gonna be commentary on Man of Steel. No, it's not. It is not. It's literally just, what if Superman was evil?
Yeah.
That's it. You guys are gonna be real surprised at my opinion on this thing, because you guys know that I like superheroes, and you know I like horror movies. And this is a superhero horror movie. I think this movie's very okay. I think it's fine. It is totally just an okay film, and I know someone out there is gonna be like, oh, well, you didn't love this as much because you're just such a Superman fan. No, I don't give a shit. You want to make a dark, evil version of Superman? Go ahead and do it. Just don't make it the Superman movie. I don't give a shit. I was actually all on board with this movie, but I'm also a huge horror fan. And as a horror fan, I thought this was just fine. It's totally okay. It's a decent horror film. I don't know, maybe you felt differently from me.
I thought it was okay. Like, the thing is, there was, like, a lot of hype around this movie.
There is a lot of hype.
So, I was expecting...
Tap that shit down.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I enjoyed myself, but it wasn't worth all that hype. That's basically my take on it.
Yeah, tap it down. And I feel like there is an audience that this movie is made for. And I can guarantee that because when the first reviews of this came up, it was at like 80 some odd percent on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, it was sitting high. And overnight, that dropped to almost 60. And like, they showed this to the critics they knew specifically were going to love this. And you know what? There is an audience that is specifically going to love this thing. I thought I was going to be in that audience. And instead, man, I got to be real with you guys. I was bored through a large chunk of this film. I was sitting, and this movie's only an hour and a half.
I felt like there should have been more for suspense.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm like never satisfied with the length of movies these days, because we just finished seeing Aladdin, which I was complaining was too long. Now we just finished seeing Brightburn, and I was complaining it being too short. And it's like, why can't movies just be the perfect time, the perfect length?
Well, here's my thing about it. I agree with you that it needed more suspense. But a lot of the kills in here they take so long to happen. And I'm just like, I know it's going to happen. I needed more suspense with the kid in his everyday life.
Yes.
That's what I needed.
Yes, I needed
when it actually got to the kills in here, I was like, oh my god, we know it's going to happen. Just do it already.
That's the thing, it's like we needed more of a setup, of a build-up.
Yeah. And because here's the problem with this. I went into this movie thinking it's going to be one of two things. It's either going to be, okay, he's just this... He's our son, but he's always been kind of off, and we don't know. He's always been a little bit weird, and now that weirdness kind of reaches a peak. Like something's always not quite been right with that kid, but we've tried to raise him like a normal human being, but he isn't a normal human being. Or I thought it was going to be they raised him like a normal human being, and then something sent him down the dark path. It's neither of those.
No.
It's literally just, here's your problem. Someone switched this thing to evil. That's literally what it is!
No, it's like, oh, as soon as he turns 12 and hits puberty, he's automatically evil!
What it is, no, this is what it is. I'll go ahead and let you guys know, and I don't consider this a spoiler because it's literally just the setup for the film. But, it is basically the Superman thing. He's raised with these two parents. They couldn't have kids of their own. They're in a farmhouse out in this small town. They keep the alien ship in the barn underneath the floorboards. You see him with his family before this, and they are a good family.
They are.
I honestly love the early stuff that we get with the family in here, and it made me look at it and go, okay, so it's not that he's just like this weird kid or anything. It's he's going to get like either tempted by the power, or he's going to go down like something's going to happen.
Yeah, like maybe I felt like he was going to get bullied in school, and he just they just keep pushing him until he finally snaps.
Yeah, something like that. Like he gets bullied by a kid and he fights back and uses some of his powers. Like, oh, that kind of felt nice. Something like that. No, what happens is one night the ship just starts going whoa, 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 and then he goes out there and he looks at the ship and now he's just evil. That's it, everybody.
Like, basically, if...
The ship sends him messages inside his brain throughout this film that he keeps getting. And there's very little in here of him, trying to fight that. Mm-hmm. We're just like, and that's kind of like all you give it. And then he's just like, all right, cool. I'm evil now.
Yeah.
And I found that to be just lazy as shit. I'm sorry. It was so uninteresting to me. And like I said, the trailer for this made fun of Man of Steel because they tried to shoot it just like Man of Steel. They shot with like the hand going through like the grass and the laundry and everything. It's like, yeah, they tried to shoot it just like Man of Steel to be like, we all know what you thought about Man of Steel. We're gonna make fun of that thing in there. I got news for you guys. Don't bring it if you can't surpass it, because I'll be real with you, Man of Steel is a better evil Superman origin story. It really is. That and Batman vs. Superman are better evil Superman origin stories. Because in that one, you got Superman using his powers to save a bus full of kids. It's like, what was I supposed to do? Just let him die? Maybe. That's what you tell a kid that's gonna become a supervillain. That's the thing that you plant in that kid's head that's like, all right, fine, Dad, I won't help people. And in like Batman vs. Superman, like, you don't owe anyone in this world anything. Nothing at all. That's the thing that your mom tells you when you become a sociopath. Yeah, they do stuff in those films to set up the idea of Superman just going, you know what, fuck the world, I'm looking out for number one, me. They don't do anything like that in here. It's literally just the ship just goes, click, well, I'm evil now. Go fuck yourself with that shit. That was lazy as hell, I thought.
I understand what they're going for, like...
That he's a wasp and Superman's a bee, which they said that, man, this is another thing that I have with this one. Oh, did you just get that now?
No, I got that reference.
Yeah.
I got the metaphor, but I was just laughing at you saying that, like...
Yeah, that's the other thing about this film. They set up everything immediately in this. There's a moment in which the mom is looking for her son, and so she does this specific whistle, and then he replies back with a specific whistle. Well, I know what the climax of the movie's gonna be. I know she's gonna be hiding from him, and they're gonna be doing that whistle. All right, I know what's gonna happen now. And then he's in class, and the teacher goes, can anyone tell me the difference between a bee and a wasp? How about you? And then he goes, bees are pollinators, wasps are predators. And he goes, okay, very good. Oh, and also wasps, they can't build their own hives, so they will send the wasp over to someone else, and then they will force that wasp to raise their larva child, and then they will go and devour maggots. And like, it just goes on from there, and there's like, you literally just described to me the entire future plot of this film. Also, I'm very aware there's an ice cream truck outside, so if you guys hear that, I apologize. But yeah, I was like, okay, I get it, but man, you just stopped early on and just turned the audience and go, plot, done. Back to this. Man, that ice cream truck is loud. Apologies, we're not stopping. I got too much energy at this right now. Yeah, like the parents, they do nothing wrong with this kid. He just, like...
But it's like he got made fun of for being smart in school, so...
Once. Here's the thing. This film suffers so much from, we're gonna set a thing up and never come back to that shit. Ever. There's a bully at the school, makes fun of him once for being smart. Then, like later on in gym, that boy makes fun of him again. So it's like, oh man, he's gonna get that bully back so bad. You never see that kid again.
And he should have. Like, out of all the people he wanted to get revenge on, you think that bully would be the number one on his list.
Everyone he kills in here are people who had nothing coming to them. And the one guy you set up who does have something coming to him, nothing happens to that guy. What the fuck do you know about setups? What is wrong with you? Man, I can't believe I'm this mad at this movie. It's just bad. Like, there's so many things in here that they set up and never comes back. The first time that you see him using his superpowers, the dad tells him to mow the lawn. And he's like, just getting frustrated at the murders. Come on. And he's like, hey man, I've been there. I had a mower that would not start and drove me fucking nuts. And then he hurls that thing like way off in the distance, and he's stunned. It's the first time he's used his powers. He goes up to it. It's now rowing the blades. You've seen this in the trailer, by the way. Everything I'm going to spoil in the non-spoiler part of our discussion, it's all been in the trailers, okay? So if you haven't seen the trailers, I apologize for this. But he goes up, sticks his hand in there, it stops the blade, and he's unhurt completely. Don't you think the dad would come back and go, hey, why didn't you mow the lawn? Where's the mower? Why is the blade on the mower busted? Like, don't you think there's like several questions?
That is my biggest issue with this movie is nobody questions anything.
There is a scene, again, it's in the trailer, where he's eating, and he's just and the dad comes up, pulls the fork out of his mouth, and the fork is all mangled and stuff. He's been eating it, and the dad runs upstairs to talk to the mom and goes, oh my God, honey, you gotta hear about, and then the mom is looking at porn she found under her son's bed, and he goes, oh honey, you have to, is that like his idea of porn? It's just lingerie magazine, just, oh, well, I guess he's getting that age. Do you think we should give him the talk? Well, I don't know if we should give, maybe we should. Where did all the questions just go from a second ago? I just woke the dog up. I was sleeping there. Sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, buddy. This movie's got me frustrated. Oh god! And there's like a woman. There's this like girl in his class who he has a crush on, and she's supposed to be like the Lois Lane figure, I guess, because there's a moment that he creeps into her room at night and she's writing a paper, and the paper is titled "The Downfall of Truth and Justice." Wow, subtle much? Also, she's 12. She's 12. That ice cream truck is getting closer. All right, we gotta finish it before we get to it.
I know, they're pretty woke 12-year-olds.
I guess,
there.
true. That's true. All right, there are smart enough 12-year-olds for that. But it's just like, for real, man? And she's like, my mom, Peach. Wow, Peach wants to play. Peach wants ice cream. Peach wants ice cream.
I want ice cream.
It's hot out.
Yeah.
So the kid is like, my mom won't let us hang out anymore. Oh, don't worry, I'll see to that. And you see this in the trailers. You see this in the trailers. His mom is the way that you see in the trailers where she locks herself in the fridge and he burns the door open and they just, boom, jumps up on her. Mm-hmm. You never go back to that little girl ever again.
And that, honestly...
and that's a major thing. Like, he did this to impress her in that weird...
Or threaten her, or
whichever. No. I think it was like, oh, your mom won't let us be there? I'll solve that problem because I'm a freaking nut job. And it's like, you have so much potential to set up the whole, like, the quote-unquote, the good guy aesthetic that many young men find themselves in, where it's like, I was nice to this lady, and she still rejected me, I will get revenge on her. It's like, you could have played around with that sociopathic element of our modern-day society so well here. You didn't, and you have the perfect setup for it.
Like, honestly...
Instead, you didn't do anything with it.
Honestly, I'm wondering, like, how much of this got cut out.
It feels like this movie went on for another half hour, and they cut out so much.
Yeah, a lot of important stuff, too.
Yes! So much important stuff. And by the way, it's not like I'm coming in here and being mad that the girl is never seen again, because, like, oh, you have the opportunity to set up a thing that would have been an interesting thing to talk about in here as some kind of like a metaphor for modern day society and such, and you decide not to do it. I'm mad because they didn't do anything with it, and again, it's set up. It's set up. Peach is fascinated by my hands. Get in this lap. Get in this lap, you dum-dum. All right. Yeah, it's so freaking lazy to me how many things are set up here that never come back. Mm-hmm. And again, it's not even like major stuff. Sometimes it's small stuff. And God, this is not the best shot film. I gotta say that too. It is not the best shot film because there's so many shots where like someone is standing in a way, cuts to a different angle, they're not standing that way, cuts back, they're now staying in position A again. All right, buddy, you gotta get down. And that happens numerous times in here. And I cut it slack several times on that. And eventually it got to a point where I was just like, I can't do this anymore, man. I can't. There's a moment in here where it's like a flashback where the mom, she's holding the baby close to her hands, close to her chest, cuts to a different angle to show the dad they're looking at the baby, and she goes, here, look at him. Look at him. Cuts back, she's now holding it right there again. Cuts back, it's now out again. It's like, what the fuck? How did you mess that up?
Although that wasn't really a flashback, it was more like a nightmare.
I didn't want to give too many details on that, but yeah, okay, so it's fair. That's not too much of a spoiler. There is a nightmare about that, but yeah, it is just like, how the fuck did you mess that up? And there's many other times, like there's a moment where he gets out of bed and he's now got like a red blanket trailing behind him, like it's tucked into like his shirt, so it's stuck there with him. Next shot, it's not there anymore.
Yeah, like I thought like that red blanket was gonna be like his cape.
It was supposed to be like, hey, it looks like that, which it could be because he does wear a cape towards the end of this. Mm-hmm. But again, it's just like that one shot. And again, you might be saying, well, why are you just getting upset at that one shot? Because there's a lot of shots like that. And that was just the first time that I noticed it. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna cut that some. I'm gonna cut that. No, just gotta ignore that. But eventually, it just came to that point where I was like, I can't ignore this shit anymore.
Oh, Peach, be careful.
Be careful, buddy. Yeah, there just came to that point where I was like, I just can't ignore this. There's a lot of shots in there like that. Man, good things about this film. The kid is a good actor.
Yes.
The parents are good actors. Mm-hmm. Everybody in here is a good actor. Mm-hmm. This is a good cast they got in here. I'll give them that. The kid's genuinely creepy. Like, when he's got the mask on, he's got the glowing eyes, it looks genuinely creepy. Mm-hmm. I gotta give him that. When they're trying to make him just creepy as a kid, I didn't find him all that creepy, but, because mostly he has, like, no emotions. And when he has no emotions and he's just a regular kid, it's just like, alright. You could have gotten a little bit more, like, I don't know, like, Twilight Zone-y, like what was that kid who had the powers?
Oh yeah, that one. I was thinking about that one too.
Yeah,
I was thinking about that episode while watching this movie.
Yeah, it's hard to not think of it because it's both those like what happens if a child is given unlimited power kind of thing.
But it's like I thought like he was not supposed to have emotions because he's just like this cold-blooded killer.
Yeah. But then he's like still worried about losing his parents. Like he still wants to have a connection with his parents in a way, but then you never really get that much into it. It's like this movie, it does not get inside the head of this kid nearly enough. It's really upsetting. Man, dog, you just don't know what lap you want to be on. Yeah, it's really frustrating because in order for this movie to work, you need to get inside the head of this kid. And again, it really is just someone switched this kid to evil. That's just what happens to him. And it's frustrating. It's really frustrating because the best thing about this movie is it's a cool idea for it. It is a cool setup for a film. Because a lot of people might think that because, I don't like when you take characters and reinterpret them too much to be something completely different from what they are, that means I don't want them touched. No. Opposite. I want you to touch them, but if you're going to change them completely, just make your own thing, you lazy shits. Just make your own thing, and this did it. This was like, we want to tell the story of evil Superman? Let's just make a completely different character. Amazing. That's it. It was the obvious fucking answer in there in front of you the entire time, and you're going to finally do it.
It's a great concept, but the execution did
so
not.
So sloppy. It's such a good idea, and yet it's so sloppy. And aside from the acting, everything about this is sloppy. Like I said, for half an hour of an hour and a half long film, I was bored out of my mind in this. Like, the entire time when he, suited up in the Cthulhu mask and was just hunting people down, I was like, oh my god, yeah, I know where this is going. Just do it already. Like, all the time there was, playing with people, I was like, none of this is frightening. Just fucking get on to the next scene already. Go back to, setting... It's not frightening because you don't set him up enough that I don't care about him in any way. Yeah, I didn't find anything about this interesting. It was really upsetting to me. But, again, it's a cool concept. And a cool concept can take you a decent distance.
What was that other movie where, the kids get the superpowers and it's like...
it was a found footage one.
Yes!
Yes, oh god, what was that?
Shoot, I forgot the name of it, but
I forgot it too, but that is a way better execution of this. That is such a better execution of this thing. Yeah, man, I really like that one. I want to be talking about that one now. Yeah, this is a movie that rested on its laurels too much. This was a movie that was like, we got the cool concept, done. Movie writes itself from this point on. No, it doesn't. No, it really doesn't.
That's why I don't do stories. I always have a great concept, but I never know where to go with it. And if you don't know where to go with a great concept, it's gonna be crap.
Yeah, something to point out to everyone, James Gunn produced this. Didn't write it, everybody. That was his brothers. His brothers came to him with an idea and was like, well, you're family, so how much do you need? All right, write that check out. Yeah, this is such a... It's not, awful. It is not awful.
No.
There are awful moments in here. There's some things in here that's just you gotta be fucking... there's a moment... You've all seen his symbol in here. He's got this symbol in here. It's a line going down with, two diamonds on top of each other. He leaves that mark at the murder scenes that he commits. And then there's a moment where the sheriff comes up to his house. His name is Brandon Briers.
Yes.
His name is Brandon Briers. There's a moment where the sheriff finds that and he goes up to their house and he just goes, have you ever seen anything like that? It's like 2 B's to me. Like Brandon Briers. No one on earth is going to look at that and think it's 2 B's. No one is going to look at that and think it's 2 B's.
So honestly, it looks more like a butterfly. So
yeah,
it's
like a butterfly. Yeah. Which if he had some kind of weird metamorphosis at the end, it seems like it's saying that up with the whole insect thing and everything. But no, not really. But yeah, he's that's where you get that's Jeff Goldblum logic there. That's Jeff Goldblum and Jurassic Park logic on this one. Geez, buddy, you are going. Did someone switch your thing to evil? What are you doing here?
No, someone switched her thing to nom.
Nom.
Because she's nomming on my hands.
I will destroy the world by eating it all. You're like Brightburn's crypto. So yeah, it's a good setup.
Like,
it's a
Brightburn isn't even really his name. That's the name of the city.
It's the name of the town, but I mean, we had a TV show for 11 years called Smallville. Like, I get what they're doing with it. Yeah, I get that. But
Easy does it.
yeah, I don't really have anything else to say.
It's like
good setup, but
Yeah.
it's just lazy writing, lazy execution. Just
Like, it's a good movie, but it had the potential to be a great movie.
that's okay. That's the thing I gotta say about this. I'm not even coming in here and saying like this is a bad
No.
film. It's a good film that's done really poorly. So I'm gonna give it a 6 because, man, it's so weird for me to say I'm giving this a 6. When yeah, for a third of this film, I was just like, just go on over. Like for a third of this film, I was so tired of it. I was just bored out of my mind watching this thing for half an hour. So it's weird for me to still give this a 6, but there are some good creepy moments in here. The end of this film, I actually think is really damn good. The end of this film, you see like a little bit of it in the trailer where he's like attacking the house. I actually think that whole sequence is done pretty darn well. I really like the family in the beginning of this, but that and also just like, hey man, nobody's doing something like this, and I gotta give him credit for doing something like this. That's all I really got to give this a 6. But it's a 6 with an asterisk up there that says, I want to give this something lower.
I give it a 7. I was not as bored with this movie as you were.
That's the thing. Like, I can't even like point at this and go, here's the specific reasons I'm bored with this thing. I think it's mostly just something because I didn't care about the kid at all. And if you don't care about the people that are on screen, then you just don't care. And I think that it also is a lot because they didn't set stuff up well enough that when I'm seeing the execution, I don't have the emotional stake in it. But it's not like things aren't happening on screen.
Oh no.
So I gotta give it that. And like I said, there's an audience out there for it, but I kind of feel like that audience deserved a better movie than this, and it's a real shame. Spoiler time on this, yeah. Spoiler time on this. As much as I didn't quite enjoy this film, towards the end of this, I was like, I do really kind of hope that there's a post-credit moment in here of them going, oh my God, have you seen all these reports of this thing? There's something tearing the entire town of Brightburn apart, and they just present it to like some cold sociopathic like corporation guy, and he goes into like a bat cave of sorts, like, I want you to set up an entire evil superhero cinematic universe.
Honestly,
because it's a cool idea.
Honestly, I thought that's what they were doing in like the credits because you like.
And that is what they did. That's what I'm saying. When we got to the end of this film, I wanted to see them do that. And then they kind of did it.
Kind of.
They kind of did.
I mean, they didn't have like a Batcave or anything.
It ended with Michael Rooker basically playing, because James Gunn is somehow attached to this, so Michael Rooker's going to pop up. Michael Rooker is in here, and he is basically playing like an Alex Jones, like, wake up, sheeple, the government is lying to you about this thing.
Like a conspiracy theorist on YouTube.
Except it turns out this guy's actually correct, as opposed to most of those other conspiracy theorists on YouTube. Because he's like, yeah, the government's not telling you about this guy. He's some weird godly creature, and we all need to be afraid because he could take us out any moment. We need to be prepared for this, just like the half-man, half-fish monster that's been overturning ships, or the creepy witch woman who's been reported to be strangling women with a rope.
So basically, it's like he's not the only supervillain on this planet.
Yeah, he's basically their Nick Fury who comes in here and goes, you think you're the only evil monster out there. In a weird way, they're setting up a better evil monster universe than Universal has done with their evil monster universes. But one thing I gotta say, James Gunn did another superhero film before Guardians of the Galaxy. It was called Super. And it was basically Rainn Wilson plays this guy who gets broken up with, and he says, well, I'm going to prove her wrong. And he basically becomes a complete nutjob going around murdering people in this shitty, tacky red outfit. And at the end of this, it shows like a bunch of like this weird like silhouette of the fish man they're talking about, this drawing of the wailing witch woman holding a lasso, and a couple of other drawings, a couple of other things up there. And one of them is Rainn Wilson's Super. So this is technically set in the same cinematic universe as that other film. So it is kind of interesting. So if you're a fan of that, that's kind of a cool thing they do at the end of this. And even though I didn't really like this film all that much, the concept is too damn good to not do something with this. It's something that you do need to stick with. Make this thing work. Give it to people who can actually fix this shit.
I was like really impressed with the mom in this movie.
She's great.
Yeah, it's like
both the parents I really love.
Oh yeah, the parents had like great chemistry together and with the kid and everything, and you can actually like see like they wanted this kid so badly that the mom is in complete denial that he's an absolute monster.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's starting to like break up the relationship and stuff.
I did enjoy that, and anytime I should have mentioned this when we weren't in the spoiler section, but. The reason why I am not going lower in my score is not just that it is a good concept. The reason I'm not going lower is because anytime you do get the human element in here, anytime you've got the parents in here really weighing what this means, that stuff is all great. That stuff is absolutely incredibly well done in here. I think that is fantastic. And that's the reason why I'm not going lower than a 6 on this thing. I think that is what we need way more of in this movie. Because the mom's great, and there's a moment in which the dad got into an argument with her because he's like, how do you not see he's a monster? How do you not see he's responsible for all this stuff? And he is having to face the consequences of the fact that, yeah, our kid is some like crazy monster from space, and he is looking through like old Father's Day gifts that he's gotten, like the handprint that he got their son to make when he was a baby. He's looking through all this stuff. He's getting real emotional over it, and you can tell he's weighing in his head what to do, and you know instantly he's gonna kill this kid
or try to.
So yeah, and that moment is great because you can see the weight that it has on him. Same thing goes for the mom in here. She's got plenty of moments like that, where she has to like face what's going on, but she can't like bring herself to think of her son as like some serial killer monster out there. That stuff is fantastic in this film. But we need way more of that stuff. And we need to see plot threads actually, go on. We need to see stuff not being dropped from one to the next. We need more time with the kid. We need to see the kid actually change. Not, and again, it isn't like instant flip of the switch, he's evil. It's not that. It's not that at all. It's not instant flip of the switch, he is now 100% evil. It's flip of the switch, and now he's starting to like stare off into the distance. He's now getting weird thoughts about murder constantly. He's now getting a voice in his head all the time. And the voice tells him, take the world. And he's just like, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, take the world. All right, that's really seems like maybe you should have like gone. That's weird.
And there was a moment like where his mom explains to him like his origin, like where they found him, and he's like, "You lied to me," and I kind of felt like maybe that was a bit of a jump, but
that to me is one of the more like human moments, isn't it?
Human, yes, but I kind of felt like. I don't know, it's like...
Because I can absolutely understand him having a massive freak out of, like, I'm an alien. What did you mean by it?
Well, it's like... I don't know how to explain it, but it's like...
Do you feel like it was too much of a jump in, like, his behavior?
In his behavior, yes. And it's like, they told him he was adopted, but they never told him that he was adopted from an agency, so technically they didn't really lie to him.
Well, withholding vital evidence is almost the same as lying. So I'm not... I think it's a bit of a jump. I think it's a bit of a jump in the fact that he had zero emotions for like half an hour up to that point. Because, yeah, he was in cold, hard robot moment up until that point. Then he suddenly has emotions again. And again, his portrayal is incredibly unbalanced in this film.
Yeah, I think that's why it threw me off.
Yeah, exactly. Because it is him finally being emotional for the first time in half a freaking hour in this movie. Because, yeah... Even though we see him, like, struggling with the voices in his head, he does kind of just go full on, just like, yes, murder, yes.
Like in drone mode.
Yeah, he is in drone mode. The best way that I can sum this movie up is that I hate CinemaSins. I really don't like CinemaSins. But I could not get the CinemaSins guy's voice out of my head the entire movie. The entire movie, I kept just looking at this thing going like, how come this, why aren't we talking about that? What doesn't people have questions about this? Where did this go? Why is that not a thing? That shot is different. Why is this not being brought up anymore? Like there's a moment towards the end of this in which, he of course has his kryptonite. His kryptonite is the ship itself. The ship somehow has the ability to cut him, to harm him.
Yes.
So the mom, finally, after he's killed everyone, and is now trying to kill her. She now runs out to the barn, and like I said, this whole sequence is great. She gets out to the barn, she has to get a piece of the ship off to stab him with it. She grabs the chunk of the barn and just, not the barn, but the ship itself, and peels that off. And in my head, I just went, you with your bare hands peeled a chunk of a spaceship off that flew through space and crash landed into the Earth. Maybe the crash on Earth loosened it for you. But, yeah, man, it's just stuff like that all throughout this film. Like, you point at stuff like that and it's like, well, that seems kind of nitpicky. There's a lot of things like that in this film. And eventually it gets to a point which is like, oh, God, I didn't want to nitpick. But I got this whole basket of nits in here, and I spent an hour and a half picking them. So now we're going to just enjoy this.
It's like, what really got me was, like, when he murders, like, the father's friend in the car, and he...
I really didn't like that sequence, but go on.
It's like, and then, like, he uses his blood to, like, do his, like, little signature on the ground, and it's like, did no one check that for fingerprints or anything? It's
well,
like,
he wouldn't have that because he probably hasn't committed a crime, so he probably doesn't have prints on file. So that's... Fingerprints does not work the way that people think it does. It's not.
But it's like, when...
Second Simpsons reference of the day. Have you ever handled a penny? The government's got your DNA.
But also, like, don't you think, like, that would have been, like, a big clue as opposed to, like, something they just happened to overlook? Or, I don't know.
It was a clue. Remember, he looked at it and went, well, that's clearly two bees. Who has two bees in the city? That was such a lazy ass. They needed an excuse to show the mom those things. And it was such a lazy ass excuse because he murdered her sister's husband. Go with that thing to the sister. Ask the sister, do you know anybody who might have like these prints or any, like, does this message, does this symbol mean anything to you? And have the mom be over there visiting her at that moment. Done! God damn, man, there's some really lazy decisions in here, and but I've said that enough. Hey Peach, you're back. Blah.
Oh, she doesn't want to be held anymore, huh?
Okay. I'm tired of you two talking.
Yes, okay, we will play with you.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to really say about this. This is just, there are good emotional moments in here. It's a good concept, but there are not nearly enough emotional moments. The story progression of this kid is not really fleshed out enough. It goes back and forth constantly. Mm-hmm. It's not a smooth process throughout this film. There's a lot of scenes that drag in here. There's a lot of scenes and shots in here that really just don't match up and feel like someone should have caught that stuff. And there's tons of things that happen in the story that any logical human being would have talked about. And it would have made a much more interesting story if people did talk about it. Yeah, sorry, everybody. I know you want me to love this thing. But it's not that good of a movie. I'm sorry. But there is an audience out there for it. So if you're that audience, fine. But I'm just telling you, I'm a comic book superhero horror fan. This is an evil Superman movie. I feel like I should be in that audience. And I'm not. Well, actually, no. I feel like I am in that audience. And I didn't really like this movie all that much. So, there you go. So yeah, that's it. Next week we'll be... Next week, I'm speaking weird alien languages now. Next week we will be back.
Take the world.
Take the world from that Godzilla and King Ghidorah next week. Yeah, baby. That's what we're doing next week. I cannot wait for that. Peach. You got anything to add, Peach?
Nope.
Well said, Peach. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.